Yo, this is a crazy story out of Long Island, ladies and gentlemen. A body was found in someone's pool under a pool tarp. And it could be a body of someone that is wanted for killing their own father in Long Island. This is the case of Matthew Zoll, 23 years old. And I'm going to share some information about this. Stay with me on this story here because it is crazy here. Just the backstory. It's a murder mystery. Just where the body was found. It was basically found at a police officer's backyard in the pool area. This is crazy. So check this out right here. Matthew Zoll, Long Island. Check it out.
The shocking discovery on Long Island on this Memorial Day. A man uncovering his pool for the season found a body floating in the pool.
And neighbors we've talked to have a theory about the body's identity and how it got there. News 4's Greg Sergel live in East Shoreham with more. Greg?
Well, Gus, it's only a possibility right now, but that strange discovery on this East Shoreham street yesterday may well resolve a mystery that's prompted questions in this community for roughly 6 months.
Complainant states a deceased male in the pool.
Sunday's 911 call came after a surprising discovery. An East Shoreham homeowner was opening his pool for the summer, pulled back the cover, and found a man's dead body.
That's something like just so disturbing. You take your pool cover off and, I mean, what if there was young children around or the poor family?
Neighbor Sharon Healy's surprise was echoed by others in a community where backyard pools are common.
I really wouldn't be happy opening my pool to find that.
Peter Gorella couldn't figure out why someone would be under a pool cover. Suffolk's medical examiner is now trying to answer that question by identifying the man and determining how he died. And Suffolk police are looking into the possibility the body is that of 23-year-old fugitive Matthew Zoll. Police believe last November, Zoll stabbed his 61-year-old father to death at their Rocky Point home not far from East Shoreham. Zoll then went on the run from police and hasn't been seen since.
It was very strange. We were talking about that at work. We all thought he just left town. You know, they got on a train or a bus.
Healy recalls police searching this very area for Zoll for several weeks last year. This discovery may answer the many questions about an incident that left some in this community on edge.
We were a little nervous, but a lot of people were saying the same thing, that he's a young kid and it was maybe just domestic dispute.
Right now, a spokesperson for the Suffolk Police Department says it appears the medical examiner's office won't release any of its findings until at least tomorrow. We're live in East Shoreham. Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
All right, stick with me, folks. Listen to this. Long Island cops probing whether corpse found in backyard pool is that of a fugitive murder suspect who fatally stabbed his father months earlier. It is saying, and this is wild, listen to this, a Long Island homeowner's summer kickoff took a horrifying turn Sunday evening after lifting the pool cover in their East Shoreham backyard, discovering a body that police are reportedly investigating as possibly being fugitive murder suspect Matthew Zoll. Sources said Suffolk County police are now looking to confirm the body as the suspected 23-year-old killer and investigate the cause of death. Officials wouldn't confirm whether this is their leading theory, but the homicide squad is actively investigating and the medical examiner's office is performing an autopsy to determine the cause of death and confirm the victim's identity. Here he is, right here on the right, and he stabbed his father, Jeffrey Zoll, on the left in November. So his dad's fatally stabbed. The body, and then he went on the run. He went on the run. Fled into a woods. And now months later, this property here that you see in the center of the screen, which in the back of it, there's a bunch of woods. they find this body. They find this body, and it's crazy because they find it after lifting a pool cover. Zoll, who is reportedly schizophrenic, is the main suspect of a November murder where he allegedly stabbed his 61-year-old dad, who's a postal worker, so he went postal on his own dad, who's a postal worker. Joseph Zoll allegedly stabbed him to death inside their home in Rocky Point. It goes on to say, he then fled the home, crashing his car on the William Floyd Parkway about 10 minutes after the alleged killing, leaving the total car and escaping on foot. So he's gone. The marshal spent several days scouring the wooded areas off the Parkway, including a 1,600-acre Brookhaven State Park, in an intense search to find him, but ultimately came up short. So what do we got here now? The backyard where the body was found borders a wooded lot that runs behind 4 homes and leads straight to William Floyd Parkway, where he fled to. Sources claim cops now believe Zoll may have traveled about a half a mile to the backyard where he could have tried to hide underneath the winter pool cover before dying of various causes, including drowning, hypothermia, suffocation, and more. So he's found in this backyard under a pool cover. There's a pool. November? What do you think? I think it's his body. What do you think? And what's even more crazy is the home where this body was found under a pool tarp belongs to an individual named Thomas Corso, who is the Suffolk County. He works for the Suffolk County Police Department, the same agency, and was on the same task force looking for Zoll. What in the heck is going on here, folks? The body was found at under a police officer's pool tarp. What? And that police officer was on a task force looking for this guy after he killed his dad. What in the heck is going on here? And here's more proof to that coming out of a recent article. The Suffolk County detective involved in the manhunt for a fugitive wanted in his father's murder in Rocky Point 6 months ago owns the East Shoreham home where a body was found in the backyard pool on Sunday, according to Newsday. The stunning details surfaced Tuesday as authorities continue working to identify the remains, which were discovered by the off-duty officer and his teenage son as they were opening their pool for the summer at their home on Powell Court. The officer, a veteran Suffolk County police detective, is a member of the U.S. Marshal Service New York, New Jersey Regional Task Force, the same task force that searched for 21-year-old Matthew Zoll, who had been missing since his father was fatally stabbed. Back in November last year, Jeffrey Zoll. What in the heck? This was from November 11th, 2024. Babyface killer Matthew Zoll, 23, on the loose after stabbing dad to death as he begged for help, according to Long Island cops. A babyface son stabbed his father to death inside their Long Island home over the weekend, leaving him begging for help in his last moments. Matthew Zoll, 23, allegedly murdered his 61-year-old postal worker father, Joseph Zoll, just before 1:30 a.m. Saturday. So we're at Friday night into Saturday morning, 1:30 a.m. So early morning hours, inside the modest high ranch home on Quail Road in Rocky Point, Long Island. So it goes on to say, the elder Zoll was rushed to Stony Brook University where he succumbed to his injuries. Now police have launched a manhunt for the still at-large killer. Now, this is crazy here. A neighbor, Karen Diffley, 64, who lived at the same address for 28 years, 8 of them with the Zolls next door, said she heard the gravely wounded man's faint cries for help. It was it wasn't very extremely loud. Help! You know, it was just kind of, help! And she says, I was on my phone and I thought maybe it was my phone, so I shut it off and I heard it again. The distraught neighbor went on. Then I thought maybe it was just my husband's TV because it was kind of low key. So I shut everything off and I looked around and I even came out 1:27. I saw myself in the camera running out and I looked and I didn't see anything or I didn't hear anything after that. Zoll worked as a mail carrier, Riverhead, and had lots of friends, according to the neighbor. He was known in the neighborhood for loving barbecue. I'm in shock. I'm really shocked. He was a very nice man. If I needed help mowing the lawn, he would lend us his lawnmower. The local contractor, Sean Lamb, 54, described Rocky Point as a quiet community where things like this don't happen. This is a tragedy. I was talking to him a few times this late last week. I couldn't believe it when someone sent me a picture of Joe and said his son stabbed him. I couldn't believe it. He was very kind. Gavin Israel, 23, who lives across the street and studies horticulture at the Farmingdale College, described the slain dad as a super nice guy. We used to talk when we were out there washing our cars together on the street. He would tell me and my brother to come over and take the mulberries when they were in season. Just a nice, quiet, soft-spoken guy. Joe had a problem with alcohol years ago, but he cleaned up, Israel recalled. He was divorced. His wife moved to another town years ago. It was just him and his 2 sons. His older son is okay. So there's an older son there. Matthew could see immediately that something was off because he was always looking down. He never really talked. Matthew, who suffers from schizophrenia, briefly went missing in late November or April. So he was missing prior, schizophrenic son, and was already missing prior to the murders. He had a problem a few months ago where he went missing because he went off of his medication. The local police did a story about him when police looking for him, and I guess that's probably what this started with. Lack of meds. Matthew Zoll was still on the loose Monday, and cops released photos of him in hopes of tracking him down. Meanwhile, the family's downstairs neighbor, who declined to give his name, said he was terrified for his safety as the killer remains on the loose. I don't like talking about it because it's upsetting. It makes you feel everything all over again. I'm not feeling too safe here. I asked the cops if I would be safe here, and they said it'll be okay. My sister just called, and I told her I'm worried. I don't know. I don't feel safe. But the police told me I'd be okay, so that made me feel better. I've only lived here a month. I don't know what to do. I'm worried. So that was some information. All the neighbors liked this older guy and said the son was strange. Son would put his head down. The son had schizophrenia. Wow, let me know what you think. I think it's him. I think it's the guy, and this can bring closure and, get, stop the flyers. He's wanted and everything like that. But just, this is wild. And then found at the police officer's home on the same task force that was assigned to look for him when he was on the run. Dangerous man with schizophrenia. Father seemed like it was a very nice guy, would let the neighbors come over and pick things off the trees. Terrible, terrible situation here. And there was another son or another child in that home. So hopefully that child's okay. Hopefully the child's not the same way. But schizophrenia is real, man. A lot of people suffer from it and do the unthinkable to their own families. It's pretty scary. Let me know what you think. Sub to the channel, like, hit the notification button. I am JLR Investigates. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.